Chinese love poetry is one of a series of books the British Museum has produced on poetry across cultures. Chinese poetry has a very long history, starting obviously in oral form, going back to thousands BC. But it started to be written down in manuscript form, probably from about 700, 600 BC. Some of the earliest poems are very prosaic, women being left alone while the men go out to war, or the plight of a widow who has no man to support her, and are rather sort of harsh and sort of very succinct. But gradually the poems became more flowery, and some of them also very emotive. And particularly in the Tang dynasty, there is some of the most beautiful love poetry probably written anywhere in the world, particularly written by the poets who lived around Hangzhou in the south of China, the area of West Lake, where the most beautiful women in China are meant to come from. What my colleague Jane Portal, who wrote this book, wanted to do was to link up some of the famous paintings that we have in the British Museum, which, as I've explained, are not often on display here because of light sensitivity, to match them up with some of the most famous poetry in Chinese history. And so some of the most beautiful paintings are illustrated in this book and illustrate incidents that are replicated in the poems themselves. One of our most famous paintings is called The Admonitions of the Palace Instructress, written by someone to complain about the evil influence of women on the throne. And there's a poem that accompanies that, and it is probably the oldest painting, Chinese painting in the world. It's a very famous painting, and we're very fortunate to have it here in the British Museum.